No CP time there. That thing's right on point then.
Hey.
Okay. Yep. All time. Yep. Hey, Kennedy.
What up?
My brother from another mother.
Yeah.
Boy,
what up?
It has been a crazy week for me. And it was a short week for me. So I was like, yo, real crazy though, bro. It worked out though, man. What you got? What you been up to this week, man? How's it been looking for you though?
Man, listen, got another show tonight, like we've been talking about.
Right.
My boy Deuce got traded like Russell Westbrook. He on a new team, so he got a game tonight. So man, it's been hectic. Because I mean, you know, it was one of the things I really respect the fact that his coach called and was like, listen, man, there's some things that came up personally that I need to take care of. And, you know, I feel like I owe it to Deuce, especially this being his last AAU season, that I want to get him, you know, somewhere that he can compete and be able to be in front of those eyes that's needed so that he can, you know, be in front of some college coaches, and have that opportunity. So I appreciated him for that. And so, you know, ended up talking to the new coach. He's all about college prep. And, you know, he's like, listen, man, I'm looking for some guys. I shot him some footage and he was like, yo, that boy can go. So
how much better is this team than his old team?
I really don't know. After talking to this coach, he said that they are pretty guard heavy, which again, it's like Houston. And he said that they really have the space and room for Deuce to do what he does. So that's one thing that's appreciated. And then, you know, I really won't know because he was naming off a bunch of guys that are pretty, you know, elite players in their own respective schools or whatever the case may be. So, yeah, it's super exciting, kind of different just because, you know, not used to seeing Deuce in the, you know, in a different jersey other than the ones he's already participated with. So it's gonna be incredible.
I'm sure you got some shoes to match whatever jersey color they got.
You know, I might have something.
Hey, give it to me, man. Best thing you done seen this week?
Best thing that I've seen this week. I would definitely just have to say Charlie, man. Like just she's been like, you know, it's one of those things as a parent, you know, you think back to when they were born. And of course, you know, Charlie going through the stuff that she went through by being a preemie. It's just her development, man, the conversations that we have. And it's one of those things like it just really hit me here recently, just looking at her, like how intelligent she is, how full of creativity she is, like definitely my child. And it's definitely the best thing I've seen this week.
I saw the video of her singing at the I think it was a fair doing the ABCs there. That was real dope though, man.
Yeah, man. She couldn't believe that she was not scared. That was the crazy thing. Like she was just you know, got up there, grabbed the mic and did it. Like, Daddy, this is what I want to do, and was ready to go. And unfortunately, this year the fair is not happening. And you know, I was looking forward to that. I had a huge showcase this year, but you know, everything happens for a reason. And yeah. But yeah, she's killing it, man.
Yo, let me tell you. First off, shout out to the homeboy Jonathan checking in. I had already had since I sent this one out as a scheduled one. It already has some of the things we're gonna get into though, man. So I see a lot of people already in the comments. Shout out to the homegirl Tisha out there though, man. The homegirl Kima checking in as well. A lot of stuff going on though. The homeboy Dennis, what was good. Brittany Rowe, what's happening? Hey man, I got a couple of best things, dog.
I'm listening.
First off, number one thing, bro. I saw earlier today, I had posted on my page. I was like, yo, I said, you know, now that I think about it, I can see the longer I think about it, I can see why LeBron might not be in somebody's top 5, right? And I said, and maybe somebody who's in their top 10. So the homeboy Ralph, shout out to the homeboy Ralph, because he said he gonna pull up to the podcast if this came up. I won't get into that whole conversation, but one of the things that was crazy is that, like I have LeBron in my top 5, by the way. But I think that one of the things that was real crazy about it is that I said, you know what, now that I've been thinking about it more and more and more, I was like, I can see why somebody wouldn't have LeBron in their top 5 all-time list, right?
Yeah.
And that's just primarily based on a couple things, right? I look at it like this. I'm like, I've seen a lot of basketball. I played a lot of basketball, but more than that, there's probably people, not probably, but there are people who have seen way more basketball. They've seen way more players play in their primes, right? So I can understand if somebody say, you know what, I got Bill Russell in my top 5, right? Or I got Wilt because I saw Wilt play and everything like that. And usually unanimously people say Jordan, Bird, Magic, right? So I can see that if somebody even said, hey, Kobe is in mine, it would bump LeBron out of their 5. So I was like, I get it. And I'm like, but yeah, I understand the case. But more than that, I said, you know what, man? Somebody said the homeboy Michael from high school, he said, yo, he said LeBron is a he said LeBron is a top 5 flopper of all time. And I said, it still don't change the fact that he dope. He said, yeah, but he be looking like Ric Flair out there with the flop. And I literally screamed because I initially thought about Ric Flair going to the ropes and then him doing the flip over the buckle, walking on the outside of the rope and somebody knocking him down. Or the Ric Flair when he gets knocked out and he's sitting here throwing the punches and then falls chest forward though. Dog, I died laughing so hard when I saw it just because of that though, man.
Couple of things about the Ric Flair real quick before you move on. Yo, did you see the interview with him and Stone Cold? And he talks about that the ring flip. He said Vince hated it. He hated it. And I can imagine because back then, the prestige of whether wrestling was real or not was still in play. And so to see something like that was definitely a bunch of theatrics with it. But I have to say before we move on, I think Dolph Ziggler, it might be over or right under Ric Flair with the flopping, bro. Because
I think he might be up there too. He is probably Dolph Ziggler and what's my boy? The boy that used to come out there with the little hat. Sami Zayn is also number 1. Like Sami Zayn makes it look like he is taking the clothesline of all clothesline. Like he makes every clothesline look like it's JBL giving the clothesline.
But the problem with Dolph though, Dolph makes every move look like he is about to die. Like I'll be like, bro, he just punched you in the face, man.
Yes, Dolph does make everybody look strong though.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. But anyway, back to your list.
Listen. So, because I see the homie Ralph checking in, because I think Ralph didn't catch the conversation that prompted me to talk about the LeBron, because I do have LeBron in my top 5 because LeBron is the best player that I've been able to. To me, LeBron has had the longest prime of any player outside of Jordan, and then maybe Kareem, just longevity. So I do have LeBron, but when I look at that, my point of me saying that is that I can understand why someone may say, nah, LeBron's top 10, but not top 5, because Kenny Smith recently came out with the list. Skip Bayless, of course, everybody thinks he hates on LeBron, but he got LeBron like number 9 or something like that. And there's a lot of people who don't got LeBron like clearly number 5. Now, I started thinking about this because after on the Tuesday show, I called up the homeboy Ryan and I said, Ryan, I am actually mad at you because all of these years, because of you, I've been having Nas in my top 5 MCs of all time. Right. And I said, no, Nas is not in my top 5. He is not that guy. And and we had a long conversation, died laughing about it. I said, bro, Nas is based off of the golden era top 5 when, You know, there wasn't
Just
as
automatically.
many. It was automatically.
You automatically, because if it's one of those
Biggie,
things
Jay-Z,
like
Nas, Pop. That was it. Whoever was top 3 was the question then.
And so, Rakim too.
Rakim as well. So I was like, listen, bro, with all due respect, and I'm not trying to say, and I had a conversation with the homeboy Esteban from Marlboro, by the way. But we were talking. I'm like, dog, I'm not saying that Nas is trash. I'm just saying that I think that having Nas in your top 5 is based off of 90 something, right? In 96, you can say that because you didn't have as many people rapping nowadays. And I just think that ever since then, when people thought, oh, it was a shoe-in, that now you got more people who've contributed more since then, though, man. So I don't have Nas in my top 5, but that had me reevaluate everything, though, bro. So,
but here's the thing, though. The problem with having any type of list when it comes to the greatest of, it's very subjective, and then everybody's criteria for what the list should be is also different, because in my opinion, whenever I'm doing a list, I'm responding to people off of my personal experience of that person. For instance, I don't particularly look at people that necessarily I hate Mark. I hate him so bad.
Mark, listen. I'm laughing because I know what he really is trying to say. It's just the Long Branch in him won't let him recognize that, bro. That is the problem with that, though, man.
But anyway, like I'm saying about the list. The other thing is too, like for me, I'm always responding off people that I've personally seen. I don't go. I'm not one of those people that's gonna go and do my history and then watch like previous games.
Like you have Russell Westbrook in your top 5 players of all time.
That's correct. That's absolutely correct. Numbers.
So your history starts from when your eyes saw them play.
Exactly.
Not going back.
Right.
And I get that. But for that same matter, though, right? So when you look at that, when this goes back to when we were talking about why I see Nas as the fall off, right?
Yeah.
Because when you look at in the grand scheme of, let's just say you keep the argument has always been Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas, Tupac. Well, Tupac probably still has unreleased music to this day that he can put out an album right now. And everyone knows Tupac. I think that Snoop Dogg, most popular of all time, Tupac might be right behind him. But even with that said, though, there's a whole generation of hip-hop fans who are still unfamiliar about Nas, and all they know is what everybody else said, because based off of what they've seen, right? You think about that, though, right? You got 2 kids, right? Two boys that are older. Let's say even if you throw in your girls, none of them can tell you a Nas song, right? And it's just because he's been absent. And so I think that because Nas had, to me, I understand you have life and everything like that, but Jay-Z's been active the whole entire time, right? And Diddy has been active. And so because Diddy's been active, he's going to keep Big's name out there, right? Pop music is active. And so when I look at that, I just don't see why Nas hasn't been as active. And I just can't continue to keep him in that prestigious of a short list, given that there have been people like Wayne who's came along since then and probably has contributed as much more to hip hop than Nas in the past 20, 25 years. Since Wayne been on the scene since he was 15, that was when we were like, I was still a teenager. I was 18 when I first heard Wayne, maybe even 17. 17 is when I heard Wayne. So
technically, sir, Nas has come out with an album here recently.
He came out with
Kanye West.
He came out with the album. But here's my thing, though. Even with that said, right? Not to say that it was like he was looking for these new kids. Well, Jay-Z came out with 444, and everybody was talking about it. Even the younger heads who never even listened to Jay-Z picked it up by word of mouth. The Nas didn't catch on like that. But anyway, that's besides the point. I guess my whole point is that I've been reevaluating my all-time list, given the fact that I've always thought that it was subjective, and I've been trying to put myself in other people's shoes and understand why they see their list the way that they do.
So let me ask you this, though. So when it comes to lists, right? Let's say that you were talking to one of the new school cats, you know, like if you were talking to Deuce, or I seen Chris Weston Jr. was posting some stuff about Drake. And so if you're having a conversation with them, is their conversation relevant because they aren't using the history aspect and they're only going off of the stuff that they know? Or is it that you should only have conversations with people in the same?
Let me tell you this. That's a good question. I don't think so, because I think that, to me personally, right, here's an interesting thing. So I was talking to like some years ago, bro, I was talking to the homie Damien, right? And we were talking, this is when his son Kaiser was maybe like 15, 16 years old. And we were talking about people who were dope. And he was like, yo, he thought that Eminem was whack. He thought Eminem was the wackest of wackest of wackest. And it was because by the time he was old enough to listen to Eminem, this is when Eminem was in his relapse stages of that music, where his music wasn't the greatest of all time. So all he knew was the whack Eminem. We had to go back and have him listen to the Marshall Mathers LP, the Slim Shady. And then he was like, what in the world is he been doing? Like, what is this? This isn't the Eminem that I know. And so I don't think that it's necessarily, but the thing about it is that I do think that Nas's music, while it was it was done in the golden era, I think that when you listen to it now, while the sound sonically of the music in itself as a total, right?
Yeah.
While that may sound dated, his content's still relative, right? And the storytelling on Nas is especially on Illmatic. I think that what was the other one? Not Godson, but it was the first three Nas's, I think, that really made people say, all right, you know what? The first one, classic. The second one, dope. The third one, and it's like those are the three that made it more unanimous that he was like that dude on an all-time list. But if I'm having a conversation with somebody, I've listened to more hip hop than what. Well, I'm not going to even say I listen to more, because now it's such high consumption of music that Lil Chris may have listened to more hip hop than I have, right? He might, on a daily basis, his playlist might include 100 rappers that I've never heard of before, right? So it's like, I think that it's still a very relevant conversation, but then it's like, well, when you're telling me this person is dope, then you got to tell me, for me to tell you my opinion on their dopeness, I got to know, how are you basing it off of dope? If you're telling me that somebody just picked, he's rapping on dope beats, you know.
So the only reason why I bring that up is because I was watching the TNT, NBA show, and they were talking about, Kenny Smith was saying, listen, man, I'm not having conversations with anybody that's not doing their history, because when I say that these are my top 10 and this is why, it's because I watched these individuals play, because they were arguing because Chuck didn't have he didn't have Shaq on his top 10 list, and Shaq was like, bro, I'm chopping you in the throat.
I don't think I have Shaq on my top 10 list either.
I don't know, man. When you say that he's the most dominant big man, then it's hard to not look at him. I don't know. I don't
see. I don't. And this is the thing. I don't even look at this. Is the way I look at it. And I think that people say this, and I'm thinking about this because the homie Ralph said this as well. He's saying it's about errors, and to me, it's not about errors, right? It's not even about errors. It's saying, while you were on, what did you do? And it doesn't matter to me if you was the because I still think Biggie is always going to be in my list, and he has 2 albums that he put out. Well, those 2 albums to me were potent. They were so strong that even though he had the 2 albums, he's always going to be in my list. The reason why I don't have like a Shaq, for example, in my top 10 is, even though Shaq was very easily the most. I'm not gonna say I don't have Shaq in my list. He might be on my list. Now I think about it.
Shaq
He's not in my top 5, but the thing about it is that this is the thing about Shaq. Shaq made the NBA all-time, the 50 greatest players list after being in the league for 4 years. That just tells you how great he was. But even with that said, I still feel like Shaq underachieved, and that's my problem with having him higher than some of the players who got more rings. I just think that Shaq should have done more.
What do you mean underachieved? He went to the finals. I mean, he was in the playoffs most of his career, and every time he got with another player, like with Kobe, with D Wade, he got a ring. Like I don't get that.
I get that, but what I'm saying is that I just think personally, like, I look at Shaq and I think this. Shaq could have had that MVP season, right? That Shaq had. He killed it in points, rebounds, and blocks. I don't see why Shaq couldn't have done that every single year. And the thing that really gets me the most is all Shaq had to do was shoot 70% from the free throw line, 70%. And he probably would have averaged 35, 40 points a game. It's when I say he underachieved, maybe underachieved is a bit harsh. I just think that he left a lot on the table to me. And then later on, when he got old, it was like, I'm not going to even count him being on the Celtics, him being on the Cavs and whatever on the Suns. I guess what I'm just saying is that even later on, I just thought that he could have been still putting up gaudy numbers, but he left that out on the table, though, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Well, and I can agree with some points of you saying, because like Michael Jordan, right? So Deuce has never physically seen Jordan play, but he can understand the prowess that Jordan had when he did play, and it's because of it's like Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying?
Era, right?
Yeah, regardless of era.
Michael Jackson's classic. It doesn't matter that they were in the 80s, whatever. It's just like when you were here, what did you do? And I thought that Shaq by far was the most dominating. But what I guess when I look at that, I still think like I just remember how Shaq was when you see the clips of his dominance. I just think like I think Shaq could have dunked 15 times in the game, and didn't do it. I want to see him dunk 15 times on somebody, though, man. So it's interesting, though, man. So, but Ralph got a good question on here, man. He said, okay, to your point. So, what defines a GOAT or a legend? Bodies of work or the over? I think it's everything. To me, when you the GOAT, like when I think about. Let's say when we're talking about Jordan versus LeBron, right? Well, matter of fact, Ace, I'm gonna let you answer that first because I might be long-winded, bro, and I'm gonna try to keep my answer short.
I think what makes somebody a GOAT or a legend is everybody else saying that they are a GOAT or a legend. I mean, the thing is that their body of work has impacted enough people to where they are in the conversation. Because, oftentimes you'll hear people bring up, Jordan, LeBron, and Kobe. But part of the conversation when you and I were having, we were talking about how come when people are comparing LeBron to Michael, they never bring up Kobe. And you kind of say, well, Kobe's the carbon copy of Jordan. So if I wanted to, even Kobe would say it. He did say it in the last dance that, hey, I emulated my game off of Jordan. So if you're looking at me, you got to look at Jordan. But at the same time, you hear people say that Kobe is the GOAT. Are they saying it because he's passed? Are they saying it because, because again, when we talk basketball, a lot of people say that it's Jordan and LeBron, and they're saying those are the GOATs. So I think that again, it goes back to that all-time list that we talked about. Everybody has different criteria for what makes somebody a GOAT.
I agree. I mean, for me personally, I think that GOAT status to me is the impact on the game, your dominance of the game for basketball anyway. It's saying your impact on the game, your dominance on the game, and then your overall impact on the culture. It doesn't. I'm not going to necessarily pull it on the global just because I have watched basketball and played basketball when it was just a U.S. game, right? But I think that the reason why I would put Jordan on that one, because Jordan to me transcended sports, right? I think Jordan to me is what I think made sports cool. I think that, made sneakers cool. I mean, everything that Jordan has done, I don't think that LeBron can do, but it's also because Jordan was the first, right? But I think that,
it's different though.
It's a lot of stuff though.
I think what's different though is because we have social media now. So the thing is that Jordan really put it, like, don't get me wrong, Jordan brand has been out and people know Jordan just because, like we said, it doesn't matter the era. But Jordan really stepped back up when they put out The Last Dance, and that gave people that real snapshot in the social media era. And now they're talking about Jordan in the same sense and fashion that they would if LeBron was still playing actively. Yeah. Like that put him really back on the map globally. And so that just upped his GOAT and legend icon status. Let me ask you this though. Would you put Tom Brady in that GOAT conversation?
Of what?
For football.
I think
for quarterbacks,
Okay. A quarterback. Okay. So that's the thing about it. You got to think about GOATs for players, period. Quarterback. I think that Tom Brady is the GOAT quarterback. when it comes to greatest players of all time, I do think that Tom Brady is like top 3 or 4. To me, all time, I would say that Lawrence Taylor is the greatest player of all time. I think that Jerry Rice is right behind him. And I'm talking about splitting hairs because part of me wants to. Jerry Rice is probably my favorite football player of all time. So I want to say Jerry Rice. But then me personally, I got Deion Sanders in there at number 3. And then I would say Tom Brady. And the only reason why I would say that is because I think that Tom Brady benefits from the NFL's ruling of trying to keep your quarterbacks clean. So I think that because that's the case, though, he's been able to play for 20-something years. But I think that also, to me, when I look at that, Lawrence Taylor changed how you look at football altogether for defense. Tom Brady didn't do that. Jerry Rice defined being the wide receiver and being able to, excel in the West Coast offense and doing all the stuff that people run now based off of Jerry Rice's success. Deion Sanders is still, Darrelle Revis aside, and there are some other guys, but Deion was the first of don't even throw to this side of the field. And so for me, I thought that those particular players, they were able to use their athleticism and skill, whereas I think that Tom Brady, while he got all the hardware, I think a lot of that he benefited from the rules, basically. So
okay, another question. So because he brought up like he brought up GOAT, he brought up legend. So are there levels? Meaning like
there are levels.
So like GOAT, legend, icon, king.
I do call levels. Like I think that level. So put like this. I think that there are. If I was talking about tiers, I would say that there's GOAT tiers, and then there's legend tiers. I think that to me, I look at your GOAT tiers in basketball, for example. LeBron James is GOAT tier, regardless of where you want to put him. But I think that below that top 10, maybe 10 through, I'm going to even say 30 players. That's where it is. To me, there's 30 GOATs, and whoever's 11 through 30, that's the second level GOATs. It's like second tier GOATs. And maybe if you want to break it to say there's 11 through, 20 and then 21 to 30, I get that. But there are definitely levels though, man.
Yeah, I get that.
But I give Lawrence Taylor was, Lawrence Taylor was the MVP on defense. What are we talking about, bro? Like Lawrence Taylor changed how you play football, how you play defense. After Lawrence Taylor, everybody designed their defensive end position after Lawrence Taylor and getting to the quarterback. That was not in place before Lawrence Taylor, though, bro. Check that out. Hey, so listen, man. Let me switch topics on you, though, bro, because I kind of tripped out, man. My Latinas and my Latinos. I'm looking online on the Twitter. And I see that the Goya CEO got out here talking about praising your boy Donald Trump for his exceptional leadership. I thought that was a bit interesting, seeing that your boy 45 hasn't really did a whole lot for Puerto Rico since 2 hurricanes ago, right? So then I'm sitting here watching, and they're saying, "Hey, boycott Goya, man." Bro, if you go on Twitter right now, everybody has their recipe out there for adobo. Listen, bro, I'm torn on this one because I put adobo on everything. I think that it's like my go-to. Dog, I'm probably whipping up the Goya probably as much as anybody who I know that's Spanish, though, bro. I'm torn. I don't want to give up my adobo, bro. Like, what you think, man? What I need to do, Ace?
Man,
is that too much?
No, it's not too much, man. Here's the thing, like you have to go with your gut on that. This is what people need to understand, right? In the grand scheme of things, if we go into this boycotting business of everything, bro, it's gonna be a lot of stuff that we gonna not have.
Let me ask you this though. This is why I think that this is interesting. All right. Do you think that it's very pop culture now, right? For Donald Trump, right? Because when you're pro Donald, and this is weird because when someone says they're for Donald Trump, it seems like the natural response is, hey, you got to boycott that, right? I want to know your thoughts on if for some reason, what does that mean? Like, do you think that people are jumping on the wave of no, we boycotting if you riding with Donald Trump, because the other side. Well, I don't know. I don't hear from the other side. I only know from my peoples, right? And when I say my peoples, I mean the white people I know, my Spanish people I know, the brown, yellow, all the I see in my world. If you're pro-Trump, not even pro-Trump, if you even give him props, we boycotting that. So,
see, I have some people that just don't like, because I talk to all facets, everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like I know people who personally voted for Trump back in this previous election, and those people just didn't like Hillary. So they thought
our state of Oklahoma voted for every single county voted for Donald Trump.
Again, we can get into that. we you know how anybody who's intelligent about voting knows how that works. But at the same token, what I'm saying is I know people that personally voted for Trump that aren't necessarily racist or bigots or whatever the case may be, and they just did not like Hillary Clinton. So those were the two choices, and so I'm choosing, in their opinion, the lesser of two evils.
Lesser of two evils. And how do you determine the lesser of two evils? It's always the thing.
Yeah. So again, when you say you voted for Donald Trump or that you're in support of Donald Trump, I need to know the behind the scenes behind that. That's the part
I do too, because when you tell me you voted for Trump, now I look at this saying, well, did you vote? If you say, hey, listen, I know I got a friend of mine who says I absolutely hate the Clintons, right? And everything they stand for very legitimate reasons. So if you said, some people might have looked at Hillary and the Clintons the way that some people look at Donald Trump, right? So they said that I made that decision. But when you voted for him, though, right? If that's not your reasoning, then I would love for someone who is a Trump supporter to tell me, what do you think about what he's been doing now?
Yeah.
Right? Because listen, he's there now, right? And I told you, I'm trying to judge on after. So now that he's there, what do you think? And not just that, if you voted for him because you were behind his message, what do you feel about his message now? That is the number one thing because I don't want you to, if you felt like, hell, you know what, I just voted for him because it wasn't Hillary. Well, now that he said these things and done these things, does that mean you stand by him again? Because the next election is coming up. Hillary's not there. So I don't know. It's interesting, bro.
Charlie, hold up. I just thought of something else that was the best thing that I saw this week. Now that we're talking about 45.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That was by far one of the best. That probably, you know what, man?
Hey.
That was the best thing that I saw this whole week, though.
All right, so people that don't know what we're talking about. So, on Facebook, you're allowed to create groups. So somehow there's a group that's called White Lives Matter. Now, here's the thing. It's 2020. So if you don't know why people are saying Black Lives Matter at this point, it's because you don't want to know. Okay. Right. So anyway, in this White Lives Matter group, they are completely on Donald Trump's side, but they're on the bigotry side, the racist side. Like everything is white. Everything is white. Yo, we started getting added to these groups, bro, and we was shutting them groups down.
Let me take it a step back. Because how it happened, from what I've understood, is that there was a girl who was the daughter of someone who was in that group. So which I can appreciate that she didn't necessarily agree with it. So she didn't let the back door open on over here, said, y'all come on in here though, man. And it just seemed like every hour, right? When I looked at the members list, it was getting hundreds, then hundreds turned to thousands, and then thousands turned into 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. And before you know it, like there's probably a third of the group now are either Black, Spanish, Chinese, white people who are just not against what they and took over the group. It was hilarious though, man.
Yeah, you seen the admin post. He was like, yo, I'm trying to kick him out.
Hey, Ace, the funny thing about this, bro, I saw somebody go through all of their posts and post a picture of Samuel Jackson in every single one. Somebody posted a picture of Samuel Jackson. I said, "Oh my God." It was hilarious though, bro. Hilarious. And I'm looking and I post it. I see the homie Dennis in it. I see the homie Travis in it. And I'm seeing all these people got added to it. And the funny thing about it is I'm sure Dennis was added. The people who I know, this I tell you how small the world is, because me and Dennis, we're in this. We talk about the same group, but we were added by different people, and it went that fast, very organically, though, bro.
But yeah, then it just became a mission because other groups started popping up. White Lives Matter Part 2.
Hey,
they got in that group.
Looking for them though, man. They out looking for these groups, and I thought that it was hilarious, though.
Appreciate
bro.
the allies, bro. Appreciate the allies.
My God. I love that. So one thing that I did love about that is that I love that it wasn't just that all these black people just infiltrated our group. It was a lot of different people out there, though, man. So it was beautiful, 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 man. I was in real life tears because I saw the homie Jerome. Shout out Jerome Taylor. He was the first one that said, "Dawg, we just got access to this racist group, and we over here going in, we taking over." And I just laughed at his comment. And then he added me, and I'm sitting here looking at everything. And boy, they done took over this thing. I said, "Oh."
Man, they done screenshotted everything.
They done screenshotted all these people who done posted, who done liked the pictures of the racist posts. I said, "Oh my gosh, though, man."
Yeah, hey,
best thing going though, bro.
Yeah.
So listen, speaking of, we talking about Trump, right? Trump supporters. I saw the homie Kanye Twitter said that he was gonna go ahead and run for presidency, right? Said that. We talked about that on Tuesday.
Yeah,
and then now he's backing out his statement of his support of the boy Donald J, right? So I'm saying, like, why does Kanye need so much attention, bro?
Bro, it's dangerous. It's dangerous, regardless of why the reason is. It's dangerous because he's saying I don't have a problem with taking the black votes away from Jovante. So it's like it's one of those things, man. Like, people have to like, I've heard somebody say, "I'm a complete fan of Kanye.
Yes,
I'm hoping that I don't vote for him." Like, the fact that you're even considering,
you have to consider it.
And he doesn't even have any policies, though. That's the problem. He doesn't have any policies. You ask him about foreign policy.
Well, hell, neither did Donald J. He didn't have no policies. Why you think he fired all them people? Because he know, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Between me and you and this podcast, and Doc Dennis's profile picture is hilarious. Between me and you and the people on this podcast right now, I don't think that Donald Trump even had a plan. I don't think that he planned on winning. I think that he got elected and he was like, "Oh shoot." So then when he went through and he went through and appointed all of these people, I don't think that he vetted any of those people. And so that's why I think that he had to go back and fire all those people, because he didn't know. He didn't have no plan. But so it doesn't surprise me at all that Kanye West can go run and no plan, and didn't do the same thing Donald Trump said. Trust me, just trust me. So
well, that's the thing. I get that that's where he's empowered to do it. And Kanye's always wanted to run, because I've heard now some people in his family are saying that he's having a bipolar episode right now. So that's the reason why. But no, he's always wanted to run for president. The thing is that I think Kanye thinks, like, listen, I might not know, but I know people that do know. And so he's doing that same thing. And the thing is that there are going to be some people that are like, listen, I don't like neither one of these candidates, and I am willing to give him a shot.
What party is he going to run, as an independent?
No, he already named his party. He said he's coming out of the birthday party.
What?
Yes, that's what he said. He's coming out of the birthday party. That's what he said.
What the hell is the birthday party?
Bro, that's your boy. This is probably why they're saying he having an episode. We do not need any more celebrity in chiefs, bro.
Listen, Doc, can you just imagine this? That you got a producer as the president, bro. Like, I feel, Doc, Doc, this is the thing though, man. I still love Kanye's music, but I used to love Kanye. Like on College Dropout, when he was still getting there, right up into 808 and Heartbreaks, it was like Kanye was you can tell that he was confident, but it was humble. And now he just kind of got weirded out though, bro. And I don't know, bro.
Man, I'm gonna be honest, and I think what's going on, V? Good to see you. I think for Kanye, bro, after his mom passed, he just was never the same.
Never the same. Yeah. Although he put out Twisted Dark Fantasies, and low key, that's probably like my second favorite Kanye album, though, bro. So
yeah, but that's the thing, though. Just because even if it was a bipolar thing, or even if it was one of those things where it's like he isn't doing as well with the death of his mother, then still grieving, right? That still doesn't change how creative he is. Kanye is very creative. He thinks he's a forward thinker. Like there is still genius within him, but he just
what the hell is the birthday party?
Bro, I don't know. We had to look it up. We had to get the research.
I thought that you were about to make. Listen, I thought literally, bro, that you were saying, it's your birthday. It's your birthday. Bad chick contest. You in first place. I thought that's what you was about to say, bro. I was like, I was waiting for the punchline to that, though. But I've never heard that. Oh my gosh, though, Kanye. But I don't want to dismiss somebody who's like a free thinker, but at the same time, you kind of got to be careful with how. Now, some people are so impressionable, man, still these days, and I think that your boy Donald J just kind of reassured me how impressionable people, grown people, still are, man. I think that.
So here's what it says. It says that Kanye West creates birthday party for his presidential run. After announcing that he would run president in 2020, Kanye spoke with Forbes, where he revealed the political party he has chosen to side with, the birthday party. According to West, he is no longer siding with 45, as he will follow his own path, as well as creating his own political party, which he is calling the birthday party.
Wait a minute.
I told you, bro.
Oh,
I couldn't even make that one up, bro.
Kanye doing this to sell some more merchandise, bro. He got his line with Gap, and he gonna have some birthday party shirts, bro, or some birthday party edition Yeezys, bro. Like, come on, man. Like,
yeah, people gonna be all on that merch.
You know bro. What? Let me switch, because I think this is a transition, because I think that what Kanye need is some healing. And he need to go ahead and go to this red table and talk to Jada Pinkett Smith about this healing, homeboy.
Oh, we really going there?
Let's go straight there, man. Let's go there.
All right. So we reported a while back about August Alsina. We were having questions as to why he dropped information about him and Jada Pinkett Smith in a relationship. He sat down with Angela Yee from The Breakfast Club, and they had a conversation. He also had a 5-part docuseries that came out on YouTube, kind of documenting his life, where he came from, the people he surrounded himself with. And one of the things that they talked about was that
Wait a minute. Vixen said, so it's a surprise. The birthday party, dog. That's hilarious, dog. That is hilarious, dog. Like, what? Oh my gosh. Okay. Jada Pinkett.
Yeah. So anyway, Angela Yee, she also had him on her lip service probably a couple of years ago, and he talked about relationships, like he doesn't really share a whole bunch of personal stuff. So in this one-on-one with her, he finally says that he had a relationship with Jada Pinkett Smith. Now, according to reps, they denied it. And of course, he said that he had a conversation with Will. Will gave him his blessing. Well, today being the 10th, hold on, brother. My doggone computer about to die.
Today being the 10th, she has a red table. We've been waiting because she had posted a little while back, said, hey, you know what?
Some healing
needs to take place. And I think that the picture was her sitting with herself on the opposite side of the table.
Yeah, what they decided to do though, Will actually sat across from her and they had a conversation, and basically like they tried to downplay the whole thing. They was basically like, look, this happened 4 years ago. This is old news. And they said, this was kind of a personal thing. Never really wanted to bring it up. But since we here. So let's go ahead and address it. Long story short, they said that during that time, Will and Jada were on the verge of divorce. And they basically said that the boy, her and August did in fact have a relationship. And
had an entanglement.
Yeah, an entanglement. He tried to get her to specify exactly what.
No, he said it was a relationship.
Yeah, he said it was a relationship, and they even joked because he was like, "Well, yeah, I'm gonna get you back." She was like, "I think you're good on that. Like you've already got me." Yeah. So he was like, "Yeah, okay, I guess so." But I mean, the point was they came out with a united front and basically said, like, listen, they still got love for August. That's his truth to tell. And so they wanted to kind of clear up the air from their side. They typically wouldn't necessarily respond to something like that. But of course, with all the stuff going on, and what I personally think happened.
Tell me what you think.
Oh, yeah. Will was like, listen, bro, you can't control your hoes. Basically, that's what it is. You can't control them. You got you got us in this mess, so you're gonna have to get us out. You gotta fix it. You gotta fix it. I think that's what happened because again, that is stuff that they don't typically respond to. There's been a host of things about their relationship that have circulated in the webs, and people necessarily don't they don't respond to it. We've heard that they were swingers. We've heard that they both go both ways. We've heard all of that. We heard, matter of fact, they even got Tisha Campbell in the mix saying that the reason why her and Dwayne Martin are broken up is because him and Will were together. So like all of those different rumors are out there, and they haven't responded to anyone except for this one. And when you got Will, who just came off of Bad Boys for Life, and now they're talking about Bad Boys 4. There, and Jada's got the red table talk. Will's killing it on with his social, with all his YouTube stuff. So they're killing it, and so they don't need any negative press. And so then we're looking at like, well, why August? Why now? And he has an album. Like there's things going on. So a lot of people was wanting to know what's up with that. So what you think?
Okay, so this is what I think is funny though, bro. I think that it validated a lot of stuff that I had thought anyway, but it did give me more context, right? So I think a couple things. It did confirm what I thought about August Alsina. I didn't think that August Alsina was lying. What I wanted to know was more about the why. And when he was out there with his voice shaking like Terrence Howard, I couldn't really get it out of the timeline, right? That was my biggest thing, is that what does this whole timeline look like? So then when he said, hey, you know what? He gave me he signed off on it, co-signed on it. My initial thing was that I didn't know until they provided the context that, hey, we were separated. But when he first said that, it looked like, oh no, you know what? The rumor was already out there that they were kind of swingers. So, he basically gave me the okay to smash his girl, smash his wife at that. That's how when he said it, without having the context that they provided, I thought that, okay, yeah, we'll just out here letting dudes smash the girl. Yeah, they swingers like everybody said, made sense. But I think that I also when I look at while he was so torn, and they said, well, he kind of came around when his health was bad. Him and Jada gets together. She basically helps him build up. And then basically when she decides that she wants to go ahead and get her thing back on with Will, that's probably, the timeline then starts of, well, they said that was 4.5 years ago that this happened, right? So him coming out now after they've broken up for a little while, I'm thinking he's went out, recorded some songs, wrote some songs that were all about her. And then now that's why it's coming on up to give the timeline, right? But the thing that got me the most was that what made it not as bad as I originally thought was when they said, no, we were separated and we didn't think that they were going to actually go ahead and get back together, right? Her and Will.
The other thing, though, she did confirm that August is the one that cut it off. And August said it in the doc. He said when his sister passed, that like woke him up like, nah, I need more out of life than this, and being just the extra dude, I need to be
Well, I think that it was also so. What I got from that is that when not breaking it off, but I think that when she was basically talking about not necessarily completely in, at least how I got it, that when she didn't think about, even though they had been separated, they never did axe the whole thing, and so then it was like, well, when it seemed like they were rekindling, that he was just like, all right, that's where I'm cutting it off. Now, maybe I looked at that differently. Maybe you're right that, he just cut it off completely. But I think that what made him kind of seem like a scorned female about this was that she was looking to rekindle things with Will and still be with him on the side. And that's what made him cut it off. Maybe that's just my interpretation. But I think that here's where I'm going with that, though. When I look at that, I do look at their relationship, Jada and August, different now, because if they're saying, no, we didn't think that we were going to even be together. So if Will was out doing his own thing, and then he said, I've already moved on, I'm not getting back with her. Now, when you see the pictures of Will and her and him, it makes a little bit more sense to me, because then I would look at that and say, well, I don't care that you're around her because I've already moved on past that chapter in my life. As a matter of fact, I'm doing me. That part made things make a little bit more sense to me. But it does bring to a question, though, Ace Kennedy.
What's that?
Say you're a married guy, and you decide that you're gonna go ahead and, let's say, get divorced or separate from the missus. Is there any getting back together, especially given that amount of time? And despite whether you know or not know, now the interesting thing about this is that they said, hey, we don't have any secrets at all, which I absolutely love about that. No secrets. So the entire time, Will knows what Jada's doing from day one till now, right? So knowing that, right, could you, Mr. Kennedy, get divorced or get separated, and then sometime in the future get back with the missus?
I could. I think that part of me has to understand, for one, what the issue is, because if you believe that you can move past the issue, like, and if you love that person, I just think that there are a lot of things that you can get past. It depends, like I said, it really depends on what it is and what the thought process is, because people change, people evolve, and you have to look at the totality of everything in order to make that decision. Like, it's easy if you ask somebody, oh, what would you do if this happens? Like, oh, I would just leave. You say that, but when you got ties to people, when you have bills and when you have legal obligations together, and then like there could be a bigger parameters that you would look at. So, I mean, it really depends on what it is. And if that person has moved past whatever that particular thing is that allowed you to separate to begin with. That's my two.
So I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I'm gonna sound very hypocritical. I'm probably gonna sound very much manly, whatever you want to call. I look at it like this, though, bro. Depending on what the breakup was over, right? So if it was like if it was like stepping out, no, I'm done. I'm not the getting back kind after that, right? But I think that if I felt like at the end of the day, if within my time that I was, if I got to the point where I said I'm gonna leave you, right, and I'm gonna divorce you after being married, then I think that also means that you had to feel like some level of toxicity, I think it is, to feel like, no, I don't want that anymore. So for me personally, I just think that and the only way that I can see that being possible is if it was a mutual thing, if it wasn't one-sided, if we felt like, you know what, this ain't fun no more. You know what, we've outgrown this. And then you move on. You've now lived the whole, I mean, we talked about it last time, that there's some people who get broken up and 6 months later, they back in a relationship, or a year back married. So now I'm sitting here thinking, like, because you can have feelings change, that fact, sure, it's possible that 4.5 years, like in their case, that you can get back down and everything straight. I just think that for me, when you go down that path and you say, well, I'm divorcing you, that means I'm leaving. I know what's over there. And I think that for us, when you're in your 40s, people don't change that much. So you get back down. That means you're getting back to that. Now people grow. I'm assuming that people can grow. I lose faith in someone's ability to grow when they're in their 40s. Maybe their life situation has changed, but I just think that people tend to be more of who they are in their 40s. And so if you're a kind person in your early 40s or in your 30s, you're an even kinder person. If you're a jerk, you're a bigger jerk because you're more consumed with who you are. So I don't know if it's something that I can do if one person initiated it, right? If it's a mutual split, then yeah, because then you can say, well, you did your thing, I did my thing, and you can kind of say what not the slate is clean. I just don't know.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing, though. I don't think that it's like one of those things like, oh, we just gonna get back down. Yay, everybody's happy. I don't think it works like that. I think there is a level of, hey, we got to get some counseling. Let's address some of these things that caused us to get to this point, because you don't want to end up in the same spot.
I get that, and that's my reasoning, because you know that now 4 years later that person has now become more of who they are. Then it's like, well, you know what that was about, and there was a reason why you decided to let you go. I just think that, I don't know, man, your living situation could be different. I just don't think that your personality, your characters, and everything like that. I just don't know, like that changes. Not in your 40s, though, right?
Man, I think things can change a person. Circumstances can change within a person's life. Like sometimes even the death of someone can make you realize there are some things that you need to change within yourself. A lot of things can happen. I have faith in people. I have faith in people that believe, like I said, it depends, because if both of you mutually agreed that you wanted to move on, but then both of you mutually agree that you want to work it out, there has to be some sign of reconciliation of we got to hit this counseling. We need to address the things that got us to this point, so that we can see if it's possible to move past that. Because the thing is like you said, the one thing, like you said, with Will and Jada, they talked about, hey, we got to move past we got to know what all happened. The secrets got to come out, because that's part of the healing process too, of like, with the stuff that you tell me, am I going to be able to look past that? Am I going to look at you every time and think it like, yo, I know that you was in this position with August. So that
is the problem that I have. I don't know. It's one thing about you. This is my thing though, bro. I know if you know what your girl does with you, she got to at least be doing that with somebody else.
Yeah, so but the way that Jada said it was like, bro, let's not talk. Let's not act like you didn't get me back.
Yeah, I get that too. I get that. But my thing is this though, right? If it's mutual, that's one thing. But you can't break up with me and then expect for me to be running back behind you about getting back together. Or you can't break up with me and then come back down the road and be like, hey, man, I think I made a mistake by letting you slide. Like, no, that my head and my heart doesn't match up enough for that scenario for me to just be comfortable with that. And so for me, life does happen. But to me, I look at that and I say that, I don't know, I make those kind of crucial decisions off of my head and my heart matching up. If that doesn't match up, then it's not it's a no-go until then though, man. I don't know that. I just personally don't know, bro, that I'm built that way to be able to, if someone tells me, like, if we just think, yeah, this just ain't working out the way either of us thought so. But if I'm feeling like, not that you think everything's cool, but if I feel like, if you tell me now, the divorce is a harsh thing, though, right? That's a life-changing thing. And when you said I've built my life around you, and when you tell me I don't want that no more, I don't know that I'm built to go back to that.
I understand. I mean, to each his own. I respect that. Like I said, that they did have a united front. I respect.
And maybe they do that in Long Branch. We don't do that in Marlboro.
Yo, man.
But I do love, we get on out of here on this. I do love their honesty. I think that I feel like that I don't believe that they were just doing damage control. I think that they were truly being contrite, and I think that they were being truthful of, hey, you know what, we can talk about it now because this happened 4 years ago and we've already moved on past it and we've started this new chapter with us. So
I actually disagree. I
don't
actually
think
believe it was damage control, because here's the thing.
It may be some.
If it wasn't damage control, they wouldn't have did it on the Red Table Talk. Like, they
gotta do it there. You gotta. Where else would you do it at though?
Bro, you
gotta do it there.
No, you don't. Will Smith has one of the most popping YouTube channels out there. They could have used his platform. They chose to do it on her. They basically made it as a spectacle, just like August did. They sat down and did an interview style. They basically flipped the script and they took the narrative back. You know what I'm saying? They basically Eminem the situation. They 8-miled it.
I understand. I understand that perspective. I think I just look at that when they say, no, this happened 4 years ago. And now that they're back together and you can speak, I think that because her Red Table show is all about the therapy, all about healing, having those open conversations, I would be very disappointed if they just put out a statement to address that.
Well, I mean, I'm glad they didn't just do a statement, but I'm saying they had other avenues, is what I'm saying. That's the only thing I'm saying.
I get it.
And I, like I said, I still think it's a bit of damage control, because if honestly they didn't have to address it, it's Will and Jada. Will could have dropped another movie and people would have been talking about that. So
I think that the one thing that is interesting though, and we can get off it on this. I do think that I appreciate when she said, well, I think the reason why he brought up Will signed off on this one is he didn't want to seem like he was a home wrecker, because, you know, he was saying he's been blackballed and everything like that. And people probably, you know, people look at Will and Jada like, this is our first Barack and Michelle, right? The younger that. And so I think that people probably blackballed him because they look like, listen, you came in between that. And so I think that because Will and Jada never officially divorced, even though they were separated, I think that it was very interesting that she would say, I think that he was saying he co-signed on this one, co-signed on our relationship from the standpoint of not appearing like he just came and broke them on up though, bro.
And that was cool to take care of him in that sense. So they still do. And like she said, she hasn't spoken to August because he cut all communications off.
She protected him. I think that, you know what it is, we always talk about on wrestling, how you can lose and make somebody look strong at the same time. She told her truth and still didn't make him seem like he was just a slime ball or a sap or anything like that though, man. So but I believe him though, man. I believe everybody that's involved, but it's always a matter of the perspective of it though, man.
Maybe she leaving that door open.
She might be leaving that door open though, man. They seem cool now, but it's almost like, you know what can happen if it don't? I might be over here to put that vintage on somebody else, though, bro.
Well, look, man, we appreciate y'all. I know it's kind of a short show today, but your boy got to jump off because I'm getting ready to get on this stage, man.
Hey, so, I think I'm gonna try to go ahead and do a watch party for it. Are you gonna be sharing it to your screen?
I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna share it to my Facebook in just a moment. I gotta reconfigure up my setup, and then I'll be sharing it, and then I should be going on fairly quickly because I mean, hey, Dad of the Year got to sit up here. I got to take Deuce to his game. So hey, moving around.
Hey, so as soon as we jump off over here, I'm going to go ahead and move on over there. Follow you there. Good luck. I know you're going to kill it. And Slash Brothers, we out this day, man. I appreciate y'all checking in. Love y'all. One love.